From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Kelsey Thorud. Welcome to our Saturday showcase. We begin with Bay Area cities seeking to change the rules on housing and parking and drawing considerable resistance in the process. In a moment, John Ramos will explain why so many people in a North Bay town got angry about a new parking system. But first, to Lauren Toms on the move in San Francisco to allow for taller residential buildings and on the community members who are pushing back.
Tensions ran high on the steps of City Hall as Mayor Daniel Lurie touted his plan to drastically increase housing in San Francisco.
Thank you, Mayor! Thank you, Mayor!
The initiative, dubbed the Family Zoning Plan, aims to build 36,000 homes in the city's northern and western neighborhoods by allowing taller buildings near major transit corridors. Their goal, to make a dent in the state's mandate for San Francisco to build more than 80,000 units by 2031.
Our Family Zoning Plan makes critical updates to the zoning code, a code that has not changed in 50 years. The state has given us a clear requirement, and if we don't act, we risk losing funding and our ability to decide what gets built and where.
But his plan drew boos and chants from a crowd of dozens who claim the initiative will demolish rent-controlled units. Fred Sherburne Zimmer says she was pushed out of the city into the East Bay because of affordability and says Lurie's plan will harm low-income San Franciscans.
The upcoming plan could demolish large amounts of rent-controlled housing. It has almost no protections to the tenants of those units.
But supporters say the goal is to preserve affordable units, replacing any rent-controlled housing that may be demolished in the process.
It means more availability because more homes can finally be built across all of our neighborhoods. It means more affordability because more homes add more affordability, both through supply and also through the inclusionary homes and fees that come with that development.
But that wasn't enough to convince the opposition, who worried the plan will harm the city's historic charm and what's left of affordable living in San Francisco. They fear developers and private investments will make the city more expensive to live in.
No one believes your NIMBY nonsense. Sit down.
But Lurie insists the goal is to incentivize more families to live and stay in San Francisco.
Families and workers should be able to live in San Francisco. Not just visit on weekends or commute from the greater Bay Area, but live and grow and thrive here.
For Fred, she's not convinced. She says she needs to see more protections for rent-controlled units so others won't be pushed out of the place she once called home.
What if you evict a whole building of tenants who've lived here a long time to make that happen? Is that necessarily a good thing? We're not interchangeable humans. This is our homes. These are our families.
Now to some parking frustration in a town in Marin County. A new metering system was set up in June to bring in more revenue for San Anselmo. But then, as John Ramos shows us, residents and business owners made their objections clear.
For the first time in its history, the town of San Anselmo has instituted paid parking on its main commercial street. That in itself would be enough to make people angry. But it is a system that they chose for payment that has a lot of people beginning to gather tar and feathers. Drawing traffic to San Anselmo Avenue is the goal of any of the small businesses that line the street. The problem comes when the cars actually try to stop there.
I miss the 2-hour parking so much, I will say.
Does this seem a little complicated?
Yes.
Welcome to downtown San Anselmo, where the privilege to park now costs $1.50 per hour. The new metering system began on June 2nd, and the reaction has been nearly universal.
It's terrible for our town.
Frank Gomez owns the Wink Optics store, and he, like most of the other merchants, hates the meters, and especially the reaction it gets from his customers.
And the town said that the businesses were for this, which now we have community members in Marin boycotting downtown San Anselmo to shop and dine and stay.
Why? Why are they angry?
Because of the kiosks. They're hard to use. They didn't think about our elders. They didn't think people with less fortunate that don't have credit cards. They don't even accept coins because it was too much work.
The system is from a company called Park Mobile. There are a number of ways to pay, but they all require a phone and credit card, something that isn't always popular with the area's large elderly population.
I think Park Mobile knows this is a challenge, so they put a sticker on the side. There's no phone number on it. So, well, actually there is, I'm sorry, but it's so tiny, I forgot it was even there.
Sarah Robinson is a local age and disability advocate who helped craft the city's accessibility policy. She says the system requires people to know their license plate number and which zone they happen to be parked in when trying to pay at the single kiosk on each block.
So if I enter a license plate.
You have your license plate memorized?
No, I don't. I just made it up. Oh, I just found somebody's license plate. So
you just typed in somebody's
license plate is now parking in San Anselmo.
She doesn't believe the system was designed with the town's clientele in mind.
When I'm thinking about this particular parking system, I'm looking at all ages, all abilities. Will this work for them?
The downtown is in an uproar over the meters, and residents and merchants plan to give town leaders the what for at a meeting next Tuesday morning.
This is level 10, DEFCON 5. We need to get rid of these meters and get these businesses back on track.
Do you think they'll actually do that now that they've already spent the money?
With the amount of people that are going to show up next Tuesday morning at 8:45 a.m., if they don't, it's going to be a big stain on the town of San Anselmo.
Ironically, the city installed the paid parking after merchants complained that the previous free 2-hour parking limit wasn't being enforced. The system was installed to pay for a parking enforcement officer, but they say no officer was ever hired.
This past Thursday, in response to all of those widespread complaints, the town council voted unanimously to repeal that parking program. That means that parking is now free once again on San Anselmo Avenue with a 2-hour limit.
It's Saturday morning and we're looking at a gorgeous rest of our day with beautiful conditions out there, slightly below average temperatures all across the Bay Area. We'll be sitting in the 60s closer to the coast, 70s for areas by the Bay, and 80s farther inland compared to normal. Again, this is so nice for this time of year, and I really hope you have the chance to enjoy it because we are going to be seeing quite a lot more heat building in over the next several days. So this afternoon, mid to upper 60s directly along the coast, as there is going to be a little bit more cloud cover. That's going to keep them slightly cooler. Areas by the Bay, like I told you, a few degrees below average, hitting the mid to upper 80s, and inland East Bay communities a few degrees below what we were feeling yesterday in the mid to lower 80s compared to mid to upper 80s. But again, these seasonable, if not slightly below average temperatures are not going to stick around for much longer than this weekend. In fact, by early next week, we are going to be seeing a huge spike in our temperatures. A bit of a heat wave is on the way with multiple days of near triple-digit high temperatures just around the corner. I'll let you know exactly what you can expect in the upcoming week of weather coming up in my full forecast.
Coming up, wine country's signature industry is facing challenges on multiple fronts. We'll meet the growers who are trying to adapt so that their businesses can survive. Now to businesses facing a myriad of challenges on opposite ends of the Bay. In a moment, Amanda Harry will introduce us to a shop owner in San Jose who believes his fellow merchants are being targeted by violent crime because of their ethnicity. But first, to Kenny Choi on how Napa Valley winemakers are trying to make adjustments as consumption drops.
Size is different.
For 3 generations, Tom Gamble's family has been growing wine grapes in Napa.
It's a great harvest year, I think, for reds. We had plenty of rainfall last year, so the grapes are very healthy.
Before they're picked, they're sampled.
They taste kind of yummy, don't they?
They do. They sold this at the grocery store.
Gamble keeps a lighthearted attitude, but experts say the wine industry as a whole continues to face challenges of oversupply and shifts in consumer demand. Gamble says his estate decreased wine production years ago to focus even more on quality rather than quantity.
There is still demand for high-end wine. The biggest hits right now are being felt at the lowest end of the quality and price.
Gamble is contracted to sell all of his grapes, but industry insiders say the gap in supply and demand for lower-end wines like a $10 bottle continues to result in unharvested grapes. Other vineyards are ripping out vines, which ideally reduces supply.
You're seeing literally across California, here, certainly, south of us in the Central Valley, a lot of vineyard acres coming out. That's going to kind of help a reset.
Carissa Cruz is president of Sonoma County Wine Growers.
When you look at a region like Sonoma County or Napa Valley, certainly we're in that premium wine region and those pricing. And so we're not being impacted quite as much, but it was just a slower, I think we were a little more insulated for a little longer than some of the other regions in the state.
Despite that separation, her organization projects that 30% of Sonoma County wine grapes won't be contracted this year. The growers also project what she says is a significant 7% drop in grape prices.
We have wineries in Napa that buy grapes from Sonoma County. About 25% of our grapes go over to Napa wineries every year. And so we can kind of watch that it's happening in both Napa and Sonoma, that there's just grapes that aren't contracted. And again, we're really needing to get the marketplace back in balance.
The ups and downs in a vintner's life are nothing new for Gamble and his family business.
People keep finding their way back to wine. And it does go through cycles, and we're in a challenging one.
But there's no doubt in Gamble's mind who's here to stay.
In San Jose, the Little Saigon Merchant Association is demanding intervention and support for small businesses. They say crime has gotten out of control. Amanda Harry speaks to an Asian business owner who is concerned about safety for his fellow merchants.
Better public safety. Better public safety. Better public safety.
San Jose Asian business owners and community leaders came together to fight for change after one of their own was injured during a break-in last week.
I am boiling because of the incident that happened in my community.
Michael Lay knows the owner of Kim Hung Jewelry. He says he was disgusted when he saw the video of the owner shoved and injured after a dozen thieves rammed the front of his building with an SUV. Lay owns a business in San Jose as well and says every day he fears suffering a similar fate.
Every time I left the business at the evening, my concern is if I have a place to work tomorrow.
Lay says break-ins are constant and people in the Asian and specifically Vietnamese community are anxious going about their daily lives.
I am not surprised that our customer is also fear for their life. They got car break-in, they got grab their purse in the broad daylight.
Lay is calling for more protections, increased law enforcement presence, and tangible support from city and state leaders. Mayor Matt Mahan says he sees the need, and he thinks certain legislation can help.
In fact, I was the first Democratic mayor of a large city in the state of California to come out and support a Prop 36. We're here today because we're angry. We're angry that this kind of unchecked violence can be committed against a senior citizen, a senior in our community.
Prop 36 is a statewide measure passed by voters in 2024. It reclassifies certain misdemeanors as felonies, gives harsher penalties for drug crimes, and introduces treatment-mandated felonies.
We need to give people a very clear choice. Get treatment or go to jail. You have to create accountability when people are refusing to break a cycle.
He also acknowledges that the Asian community is being hit disproportionately hard, referencing a recent case of 50 residential burglaries.
They were explicitly targeting Asian American homeowners. So there's a lot of fear in this community. There's a belief that maybe Asian Americans public safety isn't valued as much as it is in other communities, other parts of town.
Lay has a theory about that.
I feel that the criminal targeted our community for many reasons, but one of the very utmost reason that they targeted our community because we keep silent. We don't report incident to the law enforcement.
He thinks that needs to change and criminals need to be held accountable. For now, he remains cautiously optimistic.
I have a lot of hope. I hope that the city will become more safety for all the people, for all the population here.
Coming up, a new branch of the Concord Fault has been discovered, and it appears to run right under a local school campus. We hear from scientists assessing just how worried people in the area should be. An earthquake fault line in Concord may have a parallel twin that runs right under a school. Brian Hackney speaks to scientists who are tracking the so-called creep underground.
It's amazing. Look at how much this offset is.
Yeah, but this is small in comparison to what we'll see after the fault moves and makes its next earthquake.
David Schwartz, earthquake geologist emeritus.
And you might ask, well, what happens to the movement along the plates?
Well, I was always interested in science. My grandfather used to always take me to the American Museum of Natural History. They just had the rocks and the fossils and the maps. And I took an earth science class and a fabulous teacher. I said, that's it. This is it for me. I was good at it. I still am.
Sure, that's this place too.
David spent 33 years with the USGS in the Bay Area.
Concord Fault. Potentially dangerous fault?
Yes. San Andreas, the Hayward, the Rogers Creek, the Concord. They're all part of this broad zone that's allowing the plates to slip past each other.
This is slip, and this is slip.
There's a series of fractures that extend out across the asphalt. I think that's a very nice example of creep.
It's all evidence of the newly discovered branch of the Concord Fault, a strand of 4 miles running from Arbolado Park in the south, almost to Bart's Concord Maintenance Yard in the north.
This goes right through houses and buildings?
Yeah.
And this new trace is 1,300 feet west of where the old trace was mapped decades ago.
This is a map of that newly identified Concord fault trace.
Curtis Bodden is among the new generation of USGS geologists.
If we look back in this direction.
And he's looked over this new study that discovered creep on the fault in this new location.
So this curb is deflected to the right, and we even see some spring activity, and there's some that think this is a spring that originates along the Concord fault.
All of this is evidence that the Earth is moving on both this old and the new traces of the fault, about 3 millimeters a year, taking everything on top of it with it.
We didn't know that this fault existed in this location.
Neither did residents who hadn't heard about the old Concord fault trace.
So you didn't know the Concord fault was in your side yard?
No idea.
Or the new one.
You never heard about this?
I never heard about it.
It also came as news to Valley Verde Elementary School in Walnut Creek, home to nearly 500 K to 5th grade students on campus, and now possibly home to the Concord Fault.
So this yellow line is the newly mapped, actively creeping strand of the Concord Fault.
It looks like it goes right through the school property.
It does.
To make this clear, here's a map of the Bay Area. We'll push into part of the Concord Fault in Walnut Creek. The new remap shows the trace to the north of the school ground, and to the south, we're going to stand here on Citrus Avenue.
It looks like the sidewalk in general, all through here, has been distorted.
This is 500 feet south of the school grounds.
Sure, that's this place too.
Conclusion?
I would say that this is a trace of the Concord Fault.
Connecting the creep on the south with that on the north could put the new Concord Fault trace right through the school property.
Yes, it's close to the school grounds. And the question becomes, has the creep done anything inside of the school? Are there any records of damage, of things breaking that shouldn't break? You know, those are things I would look for.
Those questions await an investigation by the state geologist, Jeremy Lancaster.
A site-specific investigation done by a qualified geotechnical professional is going to be needed to really pin down the precise location of that fault, if there is, in fact, a fault on the campus.
And if there is, it could be a shock in more ways than one.
How big a quake is the Concord Fault capable of springing?
We estimate that the Concord Fault is capable of about a magnitude 6.7 earthquake.
That's a big quake.
That is a big quake.
And it leads to an obvious question.
What are the chances one day there actually being an earthquake here in Concord? Yeah, that's why we've got Curtis.
We give the Concord Fault a 3 to 4% probability of having a 6.7 magnitude earthquake or greater in the next 30 years.
But nobody here wants that inevitable quake to be the first time people realize they're living on top of the Concord Fault.
The message is to prepare. You know, we say it all the time, prepare. But the information is there to allow you to do something ahead of time to make yourself, your house, your family safer.
We're looking at a gorgeous weekend all across the Bay Area. I hope you have the potential or opportunity to get outdoors and soak up some comfortable heat, because even though, yes, we're dealing with some early morning fog, that's going to give way to afternoon sunshine for most of our inland communities. Closer to our coast, though, yeah, you can see this marine layer. It's going to be pretty stubborn, and there's actually likely going to be a bit of a finger of fog that's going to stay pretty tight to the Golden Gate and over towards Oakland. So don't expect all too much sunshine in downtown San Francisco tomorrow or this afternoon, with our high temperatures likely going to be sitting in the upper 60s to maybe near 70 degrees. Areas by the Bay, North Bay and South Bay are going to be in the upper 70s to low 80s, and inland East Bay communities are going to be sitting in the mid to lower 80s this afternoon, a couple of degrees cooler than what we felt yesterday. By tomorrow, though, you'll definitely begin to notice the heat up on the way, especially across our North Bay communities. You notice those deeper and darker red colors. Those signify, again, those above average temperatures, and they're going to be returning to the mid 80s by as soon as Sunday afternoon across our North Bay and inland East Bay. Slightly cooler across the southern half of the Bay Area. That will be in the upper 70s to low 80s, but even our coastal communities, a few degrees warmer on Sunday, sitting near 70 degrees. And that warm up is only going to persist through the later parts of the upcoming week, as again, we are going to be seeing a huge area of high pressure that's going to be building across the western parts of the United States. You can see that area of high pressure just by looking at how these colors are getting brighter in white and pink. Those signify the very hot temperatures that are going to be returning across California and even up across the Pacific Northwest. These temperatures are likely going to be well above average. From LA, where those temperatures are likely going to be near 90 degrees, to San Francisco, likely going to be seeing an 80-degree high temperature on Monday afternoon. Even up to Portland, they're going to be about 85 degrees as we step out into early to mid next week. So this is an entire West Coast heat wave that is on the way. So I just want you all to be prepared for it. And if you're planning on taking any trips, everybody, no matter where you're going on a West Coast, is going to be dealing with warmer than normal temperatures through early to mid next week. So that's why you should definitely be enjoying these well below average temperatures this weekend, as we are seeing onshore winds this weekend that are going to continue to bring those relatively seasonable conditions. But by Monday, that large area of high pressure will begin developing just off the coast, and that area of high pressure is going to continue to persist through the middle parts of the week, merging with another area of high pressure and continuing those well above average high temperatures. That again is going to stick around early to mid next week. Inland communities likely going to be in the upper 90s and staying in the 90s through Thursday. Even though it will be gradually cooling down by the end of next week, it is still likely going to stay above average all next week, which is unfortunately going to increase our wildfire danger. But I do want to let you know, San Francisco, 80-degree high temperature on Monday and staying in the upper 70s through the middle parts of the upcoming week. I live in San Francisco. I don't have air conditioning. I know it's going to be extremely hot, and I'm likely going to be buying myself an extra fan this weekend, and I highly suggest you do as well. Inland communities, those temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, you most likely have air conditioning, and you're probably going to want to keep that AC cranked this weekend or too early next week, as we are going to be seeing even areas by the Bay. Again, those of us without air conditioning, 80s, that's very hot out there. Make sure you're prepared for it next week and enjoy the cooler-ish weather this weekend.
Coming up, from San Jose to Sacramento, California Democrats are pushing to ban law enforcement from covering their faces. We meet a South Bay man who says seeing video of masked ICE agents during raids has made him scared every time he leaves his home.
From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Welcome back. Now we're going to talk about some local debates about law enforcement practices. In a moment, Kara St. Cyr will introduce us to people in Oakland who disagree about whether it's a good idea to put up more license plate readers. But first, we're going to go to Lauren Toms on the tensions in San Jose over officers wearing masks.
Not a day goes by that Misraim Mendoza isn't carrying his green card, but it wasn't always that way.
If you look like me, you speak like me, get ready to show you green card.
He's a legal immigrant from Mexico, now advocating for the rights of undocumented residents in the South Bay. But as federal immigration agents step up arrests, often wearing masks, Mendoza says it takes a physical toll.
It feels like a knot in my belly. Like every time that even when I get there and it's not them and it's the police, it's just like, it's very depressing, like the way we're going.
Masked officers are exactly what San Jose leaders want to prevent. They've introduced a new measure that would prohibit ICE agents from masking up in the city.
ICE has the responsibility of enforcing our immigration laws, but that does not and should not require that they violate anyone's constitutional rights.
The debate has reached Sacramento, where Senator Scott Wiener is pushing the No Secret Police Act to ban face coverings for federal and local law enforcement.
We're not trying to change how normal policing works. We want that to continue. But people running around wearing ski masks and grabbing people, throwing them in the unmarked cars, that's not normal. That is fascism. And it's terrifying, and it must stop.
The bill makes some exceptions for SWAT teams and undercover assignments, and it would not apply to the CHP. But police associations say it goes too far. Brian Marvel with the Peace Officers Research Association argues local officers are being punished for a federal fight.
I think by and large, if you look at most of your local law enforcement officers that are out there working hard every day to protect their communities, they're not wearing masks. Again, I want to reiterate, this is about the feds and not about the locals. And we're unfortunately having been put in the middle.
But the state's authority on banning masks for ICE agents could be limited under the U.S. Constitution's Supremacy Clause, which could trigger legal challenges.
Once they're excluded from this bill is now just for local officers.
Still, for Mendoza, the fight isn't about legal theory.
We feel like being hunted, you know, and this is a life-threatening matter.
A debate over public safety is also going on in Oakland. The city currently has more than 200 license plate reader cameras, but as Kara St. Cyr shows us, some people say they may be doing more harm than good.
Oakland has a crisis.
Tuan No is demanding Oakland pool more resources to fight crime.
We have over 30 cars that are stolen each and every day in Oakland. That number is actually reduced dramatically from what it was before.
No specifically wants the city to expand its flock safety program. The system stores data from more than 200 automated license plate readers. Cameras are designed to help police investigate and deter crimes. But No says the city can go a step further.
We need to provide public safety. We need to deter crime and vehicle theft by retaining important tools like the flock cameras.
But not everyone thinks that's a good idea.
Flock cameras being deployed all across Oakland, is that actually keeping us safe? What are the actual metrics that are going to be keeping us safe?
Sam Alvarado says expanding surveillance technology is an invasion of privacy and puts undocumented immigrants at risk.
There are a lot of resources here to help our immigrant community. Instead of helping them, it feels like we're now surveilling them more than ever.
OPD is already under fire over concerns that federal agencies like the FBI and ICE have access to flock camera data after a report that CHP searched OPD's system related to an ICE case. The city of Oakland tells us the network is available for CHP and other local police departments, and all usage is expected to comply with Oakland's policies as a sanctuary city. It's against California law to share license plate reader information with out-of-state and federal agencies.
There is potential for action.
Tonight, the Oakland Advisory Privacy Commission is reviewing the flock system. Brian Hofer, a chair for the commission, says the group will also consider expanding it.
Under our surveillance ordinance, the department has to get a use policy approved before they can implement the new program. So if they clear, or once they clear the Privacy Commission, whether it's a yes or no vote, once they clear the Privacy Commission, they would then go to the city council to get formal approval.
But No says Oakland needs the flock cameras to prevent more crime.
What actually compromises public safety. It's going to remove tools that work in deterring crime like the flock cameras, which have been extremely effective.
Coming up, Valhalla is coming to San Jose's SAP Center for the first round of the WNBA playoffs. How the Valkyries are bringing their court with them to the South Bay. The South Bay is gearing up for some major sporting events. In a moment, Kevin Coe will introduce us to people who have doubts that next year's Super Bowl and World Cup at Levi's Stadium will actually be good for Santa Clara. But first, to Juliette Goodrich on how the Golden State Valkyries are literally bringing their own floor to San Jose for a playoff game on September 17th against the Minnesota Lynx.
When the Valkyries clinched a playoff spot in their inaugural season, let's go! Superfan Audacious Wilson was both thrilled and satisfied.
That was magical. I knew from the start. I was like, no, we're going to take it and we're going to go all the way.
But going all the way also means a change in venue. Due to a scheduling conflict at Chase Center in San Francisco, the first home playoff game takes place 54 miles south at the SAP Center in San Jose. But no worries, all of Valhalla will be there, including the team's state-of-the-art hardwood court.
Oh, it's beautiful.
The court is portable. It's made with interlocking panels that can be taken apart and reassembled like a giant jigsaw puzzle. In a secure loading dock at Chase, 36 pallets containing 400 panels were carefully loaded onto 3 trucks for the journey south. Each panel weighs about 400 pounds.
We specialize in situations like this.
Zach Riberty is with Connor Sports. The company's manufacturing facility in Michigan builds about 800 courts a year. The Valkyries play on their hardwood. It's built with a custom chevron pattern.
As soon as we saw it, we knew it was going to be different. We knew the court was going to be special.
But what makes the Connor court even more special?
The number one resource we needed for us to be successful is a living, breathing product that comes from the earth.
Maple trees.
We realized we couldn't just go wherever we wanted to go and cut down trees from wherever we wanted to cut down trees.
The company is recognized for using maple sustainably, rotating crops and forests, and using every single piece of wood in a responsible manner. The company is certified by the Rainforest Alliance.
Nothing goes to waste, and we're very mindful of that, and we're also very proud.
So too is Audacious.
We're the Bay Area, we're about sustainability and being, creating, ways to improve the environment.
And hopefully harvesting a big win. Go Valkyries!
Super Bowl 60 and the FIFA World Cup are both coming to Levi's Stadium in 2026. Just down the road, San Jose estimates the two sporting events combined could bring in more than 350,000 visitors and generate $1 billion in economic activity. But as Kevin Coe shows us, some people in Santa Clara are not so optimistic.
Benny opened Bistro Siam 15 years ago, before Levi Stadium was built just a couple blocks away.
I was surprised to find out that it got slow for you after Levi's was built.
Yes, stadium here, we're going to have a lot of customer, we're going to have a lot of, event, a lot of things going, but it's not what we expect. Not at all.
Benny says game days are the worst for her Thai restaurant in the Tasman Station, one of the only restaurants operating near Levi's.
People like selling things on the side, food, even beer and wine. They came in and asked for ice to refill their bucket, and they look at them like, my God.
She says all the cars and foot traffic haven't led to real profits. It was a similar story when Santa Clara hosted Super Bowl 50 in 2016.
Last Super Bowl, it doesn't do any good for me.
The city of Santa Clara is also pondering the benefit of hosting the Super Bowl. At this week's city council meeting, officials reviewed an agreement set to be approved next month detailing costs and payments. Hosting the Super Bowl will cost $6.3 million. The proposed agreement requires the Bay Area Host Committee reimburse the city for event expenses.
I'll tell you what my concerns are with this draft is that the city is going to have to front a lot of payments in terms of millions of dollars for both Super Bowl and World Cup, and they're very close together. One of the lessons learned from Super Bowl 50 is that there were very few ways for the city to make money in these events.
I'm struggling to see how the city will benefit financially from this. It may be that these events are always basically money-losing propositions.
We could get a lot of benefit to the city if we had a entertainment district that could capture the people that came to capture the money that came to our city for the event.
Without that existing in Santa Clara, San Jose is hoping to take advantage, unveiling new branding and initiatives catered around 2026's big events.
The global party is going to be here in the Bay, and especially here in San Jose.
But back in Santa Clara, business owners like Benny assume it'll just be another slow day.
I want to give this opportunity to my customer to be able to come in and order food or sit down and eat, but that not happen.
Coming up, San Francisco's Civic Center Plaza will hold a free concert today featuring the Grammy-nominated artist Shabuzi. We speak to organizers about the importance of making live music accessible. San Francisco is closing out a summer that was full of great live music. From the Grateful Dead to Outside Lands, there's been a little bit of everything for everyone. And today, there is a concert free of charge at San Francisco's Civic Center. Lorene Ayoub speaks to the enthusiastic organizers.
It's just another day at the office at Empire. Artist La Russell, who recently collaborated with the company, arrives to meet its founder, Ghazi. The independent music powerhouse is celebrating 15 years in business with a free concert at Civic Center, featuring performances by artists like Shabuzi. Ghazi says making the event free to the public was a non-negotiable.
You know, I'm a big believer that access creates culture, and I don't want to inhibit any cultural moments. I want everybody to experience what the company's about. I want everybody to experience what's beautiful about San Francisco, and I felt like there was no place better to do it than at Civic Center in front of City Hall.
Working alongside Mayor Daniel Lurie, Ghazi says the city's new leadership is already creating more space for culture to thrive.
He thought it was wonderful. I mean, we all know what music and art and entertainment can do to revive a city, and if you've paid attention this summer, every single week there's something going on musically in the city, so it's been pretty awesome.
The free concert and anniversary marks a milestone for both the company and Ghazi. Despite countless accolades for his accomplishments in the music industry, Ghazi says his steady motivation remains rooted in supporting his global team of over 250 people.
I've been jogging for 15 years. Sprints will wear you out, but I've been jogging for 15 years straight. Who knows when I'll be in the final stretch, but I'm still jogging.
He hopes the celebration will inspire the Bay Area's diverse communities to enjoy their city and never stop dreaming.
I'm a product of my environment, and so if the city could produce this level of success for me, and my environment can produce this level of success for me, then I hope that it inspires other people to do the same on a micro level or a macro level.
No matter the level, the celebration is open to everyone.
The Empire 15 concert runs from 3 to 7 p.m. today at Civic Center Plaza. Performers include Fireboy, DML, and Red Leather, along with that headliner, Shabuzi. And again, the concert is free, but organizers do recommend you make an RSVP online.
We're looking at a gorgeous weekend all across the Bay Area. I hope you have the potential or opportunity to get outdoors and soak up some comfortable heat, because even though, yes, we're dealing with some early morning fog, that's going to give way to afternoon sunshine for most of our inland communities. Closer to our coast, though, yeah, you can see this marine layer. It's going to be pretty stubborn, and there's actually likely going to be a bit of a finger of fog that's going to stay pretty tight to the Golden Gate and over towards Oakland. So don't expect all too much sunshine in downtown San Francisco tomorrow or this afternoon, with our high temperatures likely going to be sitting in the upper 60s to maybe near 70 degrees. Areas by the Bay, North Bay and South Bay are going to be in the upper 70s to low 80s, and inland East Bay communities are going to be sitting in the mid to lower 80s this afternoon. A couple of degrees cooler than what we felt yesterday. By tomorrow, though, you'll definitely begin to notice the heat up on the way, especially across our North Bay communities. You notice those deeper and darker red colors. Those signify, again, those above average temperatures, and they're going to be returning to the mid 80s by as soon as Sunday afternoon across our North Bay and inland East Bay. Slightly cooler across the southern half of the Bay Area. That will be in the upper 70s to low 80s, but even our coastal communities a few degrees warmer on Sunday, sitting near 70 degrees. And that warm up is only going to persist through the later parts of the upcoming week, as again, we are going to be seeing a huge area of high pressure that's going to be building across the western parts of the United States. You can see that area of high pressure just by looking at how these colors are getting brighter in white and pink. Those signify the very hot temperatures that are going to be returning across California and even up across the Pacific Northwest. These temperatures are likely going to be well above average. From LA, where those temperatures are likely going to be near 90 degrees, to San Francisco, likely going to be seeing an 80-degree high temperature on Monday afternoon, even up to Portland. They're going to be about 85 degrees as we step out into early to mid next week. So this is an entire West Coast heat wave that is on the way. So I just want you all to be prepared for it. And if you're planning on taking any trips, everybody, no matter where you're going on a West Coast, is going to be dealing with warmer than normal temperatures through early to mid next week. So that's why you should definitely be enjoying these well below average temperatures this weekend, as we are seeing onshore winds this weekend that are going to continue to bring those relatively seasonable conditions. But by Monday, that large area of high pressure will begin developing just off the coast, and that area of high pressure is going to continue to persist through the middle parts of the week, merging with another area of high pressure and continuing those well above average high temperatures. That again is going to stick around early to mid next week. Inland communities likely going to be in the upper 90s and staying in the 90s through Thursday. Even though it will be gradually cooling down by the end of next week, it is still likely going to stay above average all next week, which is unfortunately going to increase our wildfire danger. But I do want to let you know, San Francisco, 80-degree high temperature on Monday and staying in the upper 70s through the middle parts of the upcoming week. I live in San Francisco. I don't have air conditioning. I know it's going to be extremely hot, and I'm likely going to be buying myself an extra fan this weekend, and I highly suggest you do as well. Inland communities, those temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, you most likely have air conditioning, and you're probably going to want to keep that AC cranked this weekend or too early next week, as we are going to be seeing even areas by the bay. Again, those of us without air conditioning, 80s, that's very hot out there. Make sure you're prepared for it next week and enjoy the cooler-ish weather this weekend.
Coming up, it could be the opposite of an old boys club. We'll introduce you to a Bay Area biotech executive behind an exotic car show for women. Finally this morning, a Bay Area woman is making inroads in a male-dominated pastime. Arlen Ramirez introduces us to the leader of an exotic car show who likes to encourage women to keep their foot on the gas.
Downtown Carmel by the Sea, and it's women behind the wheel. But this isn't just any exotic car show during Monterey Car Week. It's the Prancing Ponies Women's Car Show, the only one of its kind. And it's fueled by ladies who love fast cars and want to lift up others along the way. Founder Shantaria McGilbraw is the power behind it all. She's not just celebrating cars, she's opening new lanes for women, especially women of color, to succeed.
Well, Prancing Ponies is a state of being. You know, being in the world, giving back, uplifting others, advancing your own life and your own careers for your own families.
She's a first-generation college student.
Her mission brought tears to the eyes of Yasmina Sparza, a hard-working Cal State Monterey Bay student who received the Prancing Ponies' $1,000 scholarship. And soon Shantaria was choking up too.
So I'm just very proud of you, and she's such an incredible person.
Her tears reminded me how important what we do is. It reminded me that our scholarships can change lives. And seeing those tears in her eyes reminded me of that.
Shantaria's own journey started far from the luxury lanes of Carmel. Raised in the East Bay, she graduated from Cal State Hayward and later earned her MBA from the University of Monaco.
After returning home, I became the first employee of a biotech company. And 4 years and 9 months later, we went public. So this is my yay me gift for working so hard with a startup. And who knew this car would literally change my life.
But as a woman and a person of color, her success has come with surprise and skepticism.
For the most part, people, when they look at the car, they're, like, wow, it's a Ferrari. And then they look in the driver's seat and see my little face behind it. And they go into complete shock, I have to admit. I get, oh, that's a nice gift, a lot.
And that's one reason why the Prancing Ponies exists.
The statement is women can do it too.
So this is a 2024 Porsche 911.
Take Megan De Herrera, a retired accountant and AI consultant, showing off her 911 and breaking barriers.
Women love cars as much as men, and we also work on them and enjoy the racing experience.
The Prancing Ponies Car Show is about having fun, but it's about far more than that. It's one way of driving change and lifting up the next generation.
Our mission is creating women leaders one girl at a time, and the way I feel right now after giving her the scholarship is just, my heart is so full, and I want to do it 10,000 more times if I can.
From Ferraris to futures, Shantaria is shifting to a more inclusive road ahead, and the Prancing Ponies are leading the way.
That's cool. I got to check that out. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for watching KPIX News this morning. Do not forget the news continues all day on CBS News Bay Area. We will be back here tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. Enjoy your Saturday, everybody.